Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Today I wanted to do something else a little different here. I spend a lot of money on my tools and I want to make those tools last as long as possible. The number one enemy to any tool is corrosion, dust, grit, grime, all that stuff. That is the number one thing that'll make your tool fail faster than anything else. And I also like to keep my tools looking as good as possible. You know, I'm not the kind of person that likes for, you know, my tools to be all rusted up and gnarly looking. Yeah, of course, I mean, they're to be used, they're not to be necessarily collected. When you get tools for a purpose. The purpose is to use the tools. But when you buy expensive tools, you want those tools to last. You want to get your money's worth out of those tools. You don't want to mistreat them or, you know, bank them around like they're a $3 tool. So what I want to do in this video is kind of show you guys how I keep my tools rust-free, lubricated, and basically keep them looking as new as I possibly can. So these are some of the products that I use to keep my tools clean and corrosion free and keep them performing at their highest level. I do feel like, you know, if you take care of your tools, they will take care of you. The first thing I want to point out is this stuff. It's called fluid film. This stuff doesn't necessarily dry. It stays kind of wet, but this stuff is very, very, very good at corrosion protection. There's a little ball in it. You got to give it a good little shake. And essentially, you could do this one of two ways. You could use your straw and insert it into the sprayer. And what I like to do is just take and just spray a little bit on there. Doesn't have to be a lot. And you can see how that stuff looks. It kind of starts bubbling. And then I just get just a shop rag and just rub it in. Now, tools like this, you know, I even get it on the logo here because that can rust as well. Tools like this, anything that's forged steel, even your Cobras here, I like to try to keep this area of the Cobra protected because this part of your Cobra can rust as well. Tools like this, these all can rust. If you look here, these kind of got away from me for a little bit, and actually I got some corrosion on them right there. But if you do get corrosion on your tools, it's not the end of the world. You can take like 400 grit sandpaper and you can get a lot of that corrosion off of them. And then after that, of course, you just want to make sure you're taking your fluid film or whatever it is that you're using and put you a little layer on there, and that'll help keep these tools from rusting up and getting corroded. Some other things that I like to use, I recently got this WD-40 Specialist corrosion inhibitor. This stuff seems to stay a little more like slick than what the fluid film does. However, with this stuff, it's basically says it's supposed to be like if you rub some of it off, if some of it comes off, then you should still get protection. So I want to try this stuff a little bit more to see if it works. If any of you guys have used this and have any experience or have any thoughts on the WD-40 corrosion inhibitor, definitely let me know. I want to try this stuff out to see how this works and compared to the fluid film. Another product that I like to use is this stuff called Cleanse Oil. This is a CLP, and I use this stuff for, you know, all sorts of tools. The tools that go bang, of course, my regular tools. This is a lubricant. It's not as good as the fluid film in terms of preventing corrosion. I don't know if it's any better than this, but I would imagine this is probably similar to the fluid film. However, I do use this stuff to clean my tools. This does a really good job of cleaning up your tools, getting the dust, the grit, the grime off of them. So I really do like using this Cleanse Oil, and you can get it in these little dropper bottles. I think this is like $8, and you just basically have like your little needle, and you just put a drop or two on there and rub it in, clean your tool off. You can put it anywhere, and this stuff really works really well. I really like this stuff, and it doesn't smell bad at all. It actually smells pretty good. So yeah, Cleanse Oil, that's another good product that I like to use. I do want to mention WD-40. When it comes to WD-40 versus Ballistol, to be honest with you, I have never had good luck with Ballistol. It doesn't protect very well at all, and it seems like the Ballistol gets rubbed off very, very, very quickly. Ballistol does good to clean up like the dust and the dirt and stuff like that, but I think WD-40, the good old American WD-40, does just as good, if not better, and I actually think this works better for corrosion protection than what a Ballistol would. WD-40 obviously isn't going to be as good as something like fluid film or maybe the corrosion inhibitor. Hell, it may not even be better at corrosion protection over the cleanse oil, but I still keep a can of WD-40 on me. There's so many uses for it. Breaking nuts, loosening seized fasteners. There are a ton of uses for WD-40. Use it on my lawnmower. It's great stuff. I mean, I'm sure you guys know about WD-40. I just wanted to take the time to give WD-40 its props. American made, and it does a really good job. This stuff is another WD-40 specialist labeled thing that they have. They have like the silicone lubricants, and they have a ton of these like little specialist formulas. This one I got specifically for my drill bits and my table saw blades, my circular saw blades, any of my cutting tools. And what this stuff is supposed to do is it's supposed to keep the dirt and the dust and the wood from clinging to your cutting tools or your blades. You know, like on your circular saw blades, what you'll see on the teeth, you'll start seeing a buildup of sap and wood and stuff like that. This is supposed to prevent that from happening. Another thing you'll see a lot of is whenever you're using your drill bits, you'll get wood kind of like stuck in the drill bit, and it doesn't want to come off. So I got this to use to lube up my drill bits, make them drive easier, make them, bore out the wood easier, and also to keep them from getting, so caked up with wood and sap and all that stuff when you're working with wetter material. So I'm going to show you guys how this dry lube works and how effective it is. So we have a couple drill bits here. I've cleaned both of these the best that I could. There's still a little bit of crap on there, but overall they're pretty clean. So I'm going to spray one of these with the dry lube, and one of them is going to, of course, not have the dry lube. Now I also do want to point out the dry lube I've used on my utility knife blades, and it actually does a pretty good job of keeping the sticky stuff off your blade, whenever you're cutting like adhesives and cutting through tape and stuff like that. It does a little bit better job of keeping that stuff from sticking to your blade. Spray a little bit on there. And we are not going to spray any on this one. This one has the dry lube on it. Just going to quickly take a rag and just get any of the extra stuff off of it. I'm going to let that dry for a second, and then we're going to drill with this, and let's see if there's any difference in terms of how much wood sticks to the bit. Alright, so we're going to start off with the bit that has no dry lube on it. This is the bit with dry lube. Alright, so let's take a look at the bits. So the bit with the dry lube is the one in my right hand, and the one without the dry lube is in my left hand. I didn't blow them off, I didn't shake them off or anything like that. So let's take a quick look. We'll take a look at the one that had no dry lube on it. So you could definitely see that, and that was pressure treated wood. The wood definitely did stick to it. You can see some of the wood left over here. You got some, in your channel and the flutes of the drill bit. So I would imagine if you're using this over and over and over, it's probably going to get, the flutes are probably going to get caked up pretty quick. Alright, so here's the one with the dry lube on it. So it is far, far less wood that has stuck to this drill bit. Where I've really noticed a big difference with the dry lube is not only the drill bits, they drive in easier, but also the table saw blade. I'm not getting nearly as much burning on my table saw blade. It glides through the wood. It seems like it does glide through the wood much easier. So this is definitely a product that I would have to give it its props. It's worked pretty good. So that's all I have for you guys, my friends. Definitely want to thank you all for stopping by. And if you got anything from this video, a like and a subscribe would definitely go a long way to help support the channel. I'm not sponsored by any of these brands. Not sponsored by WD-40 or Cleansol or Fluid Film. I didn't receive any of this stuff for free. These are just products that have worked for me in the past and continue to work for me to this day. If you all have any experience with any of these other products that are out there, because there are a ton of them, definitely let me know down in the comments, and let me know what you guys think about this corrosion inhibitor, and if you've used it, let me know about that in the comments as well. But until next time, I will see you all again. Peace.